Kia ora, Markie here with a retroactive jealousy video. I haven't done one for a while. I'm doing it with spur of the moment, so shaky phone, camera the wrong way, spontaneous, fast and dirty, how we like to do things. Okay, so we're going to talk about retroactive jealousy. Not all my videos on this channel or other of my channels are about retroactive jealousy at the moment. That may change on Patreon, but at the moment the YouTube, and for a while really, the YouTube channel is likely to be a mixture of things for a number of reasons. So if you're interested in retroactive jealousy, you will find plenty of videos on there, and I am putting them on a playlist. So if you find the retroactive jealousy playlist video, you can get access just the retroactive jealousy ones without looking at all the other stuff. But try them out, you might like them. I guess there's kind of three categories that my videos come into. There's retroactive jealousy videos, there's things that have got nothing to do with retroactive jealousy, and there are things that are to do with psychology or mental health or well-being that would actually be quite useful for people with retroactive jealousy, but aren't directly about retroactive jealousy. But this one is pure RJ. Okay, so, and it's a like I say, quick, fast, dirty video, not a dirty video, about how to look at triggers. Okay, and I've touched on this in some other videos, but this really needs saying. Every time I look in the fora, people are kind of falling into a particular trap. Okay, so, and I've done some kind of quite hard-hitting, tough-talking videos on this topic, coming at it from slightly different angles. So basically, what I wanted to introduce this is in the kind of the format of a technique. Really, I want to turn this into a technique. Okay, so that whenever you get triggered by something, what I want you to do is transfer the trigger. Transfer the trigger. That's probably what I'm going to entitle this video. Okay, so what do I mean by that? That sounds like, sounds meaningless, doesn't it? So retroactive jealousy is a form of obsessive compulsive disorder. Yeah, okay, that's generally, most people tend to agree on that. I think it's a complex form of obsessive compulsive disorder, and it's interesting why do we obsess about these issues than other things that people with obsessive compulsive disorder obsess about, and I think sometimes it's useful to do some depth work into that. But essentially, obsessive compulsive disorder is obsessive compulsive disorder, and the stuff that we obsess about and where we have compulsions to act upon things is bollocks, nonsense, rubbish, baloney, any other synonyms that you can come up with. Okay, the stuff that we get triggered by does not have any meaning, and that is the way we need to start looking at it. Okay, because people go on the forum and they say things like, I get triggered when my husband does X, Y, and Z. Does anybody else get triggered by that? And then other people kind of comment on that, and they're talking about X, Y, and Z. It's really bad to talk about X, Y, and Z. Okay, I think there's a degree to which, when people are new to discovering that retroactive jealousy is a thing and that there are ways to heal from it, it's important for people to kind of find out whether they're experiencing the same things as other people. Okay, do that. This is my top tip. Do that bit quickly. Okay, you should realize pretty quickly that yes, and if you're not sure, go on our website and do the questionnaire, and we'll send you some comments on that. So most people that fill in the questionnaire tick yes to everything. Okay, you probably will. If you don't, and then a few people just tick 80%, and they're kind of fairly textbook RJs as well. Some people will tick fewer than that, and then maybe it's not RJ, or maybe it's a kind of a slightly atypical form of RJ. But generally speaking, the stuff that triggers you is going to trigger other people. Don't spend a whole year trying to find that out by saying, oh, do you get triggered by this? Oh, do you get triggered by that? Are you the same as me with this? Are you the same as me with that? Okay, get that bit over with quickly. Okay, and then you can start getting well. Okay, so what you then need to realize is that all the things that trigger your RJ are not things of validity. They are not things of any real meaning or substance. Okay, and this is where the transferring bit comes in. Okay, so what you need to think about is other forms of OCD. So you're triggered by you're triggered by a photograph that you've seen. No, let's think of something better. So you're triggered by you know that your ex your partner's ex used to drive a BMW, okay, and you see BMWs and you're triggered by them, okay. So what the normal tendency of the untreated RJ is to see the BMW, and that triggers lots of thoughts, and you follow those thoughts and you think, oh, I had a BMW, they were like this, they were like that, maybe my partner loved them more than me, maybe this, maybe that, maybe the other. What you do is you see that BMW and you see it as a trigger, and then you think about other forms of OCD. Okay, so another form of OCD would be treading on anxiety about treading on a crack in the pavement. Okay, so what you do is you see the BMW, and instead of going through all your normal ruminations and dialogue about seeing that BMW, you say to yourself, oh, this is a bit like if I've trodden on a crack in the pavement and I'm experiencing all kinds of anxieties because I've been triggered by a disease process. Okay, which effectively is what OCD is. Okay, so it might not be the crack in the pavement, it might be okay, so you see the BMW and you think, okay, so this is just like if I've got issues around contamination and I've just shaken hands with somebody and I'm feeling desperate to wash my hands. I must feel like I must wash my hands immediately. And not only do I need to wash my hands, but I need to wash my hands and then use alcohol gel. And then sometimes I need to use bleach because I still don't feel like my hand is clean. Okay, so you're transferring the trigger. You're getting this, transfer the trigger. I thought it was kind of snappy, but maybe there's a snappier way of putting it. If you can think of a snappier way of putting this, then let me know in the comments below. So what else? Let's see if I can think of at least one more example. So you see the BMW, and okay. So what else? What are the forms of OCD are there? So counting. Okay, so. Some people with OCD have a fixation around counting and they feel like they must count things. Okay, so what might they do? They might, or counting, or kind of certain rituals and things like that. So somebody with OCD, sometimes it's stuff to do with numbers and things like that. So they might look at the number plate and feel that they need to add up all the numbers. Okay, and if the numbers are odd, then they'll feel a temporary sense of reassurance. If the numbers are even, then they might have to go and find another BMW where the numbers all add up to an even number or an odd number. I've lost thread of which it was. You know what I mean. I've got numeric dyslexia, so I don't follow things like that very well. So I think you're getting the point, okay? So what you need to do is very quickly get into the mentality that the retroactive jealousy is an illness, okay? It's not a viewpoint. It's not a way of looking at things. It's not anything to do with your partner and what they did or they didn't do. Okay, it's an illness, an obsessive compulsive cycle that's going on in your brain. We can talk a lot more about that, and we have, and we will. Okay, so this exercise is just to shift focus and to just to kind of train your brain into looking at the RJ trigger as just an OCD trigger, which could be anything. You know, it just reinforces the meaninglessness of it. Okay, so that it prevents you from ruminating on it, thinking about it. Oh, they had a BMW, and there's this, and there's that, and oh, maybe they did this, and oh, maybe they did oral sex in a stockroom. Maybe they ate cheese while they had sex. All the kind of the crazy stuff. Maybe they went on better holidays than me. Maybe, you know, all this romance, they had a fantastic marriage. All this stuff, which is just OCD. It's not real. It's not got any validity or any meaning. Okay, so notice the trigger. Okay, remember there's other techniques that you can use, like the antidote technique. Okay, so this is used in addition to the antidote technique. That's another video that I've done. And just transfer the trigger to another form of obsessive compulsive disorder. Okay, and the object of this isn't to kind of increase your OCD so that you develop a kind of an obsession around cracks in the pavement. That's not how it works. Okay, it's just to shift the mind. It's a way of tricking the mind back into a more rational way of functioning. Okay, let me know how you get on with this. Go out and try it. Let me know how you find it. Put your comments in the Well, in the comments section, ideally. That's a good place to put comments. And I will talk to you soon. Rangimarie.